In 1981, they became instant legends, but the decades that followed were filled with unexpected twists. From Hollywood success stories to quiet lives away from the spotlight, the stars of Only Fools and Horses have walked very different paths. Some stories are inspiring, while others are truly tragic. Are you ready to see what 40 years has done to your favorite Peckham residents? David Jason as Derek Delboy Trotter. Born David John White on February 2nd, 1940 in Edmonton, London, the English actor first brought the iconic market trader to life when Only Fools and Horses premiered in 1981. At the age of 41, Jason's portrayal of the fast-talking, ambitious, yet deeply loyal Delboy became a colossal cultural phenomenon. With his endless supply of get-rich-quick schemes, faux French catchphrases, and signature sheepskin coat, his performance resonated with millions, offering a hilarious and poignant look at working-class life. For over 2 decades, his brilliant comedic timing defined a character that remains one of British television's most beloved and enduring figures. Despite the character's brash, extroverted, and highly confident nature, David Jason is notoriously private, quiet, and far removed from the flamboyant, wide boy persona of Derek Trotter. This stark contrast was a significant hurdle early on. Television executives initially doubted he had the physical stature or the right swagger to play the lead, nearly passing him over for the role because they only saw him as a supporting comedy actor. The inescapable fame of the show also brought its own hardships. Jason struggled deeply with the overwhelming public attention and the subsequent loss of his privacy. Professionally, he faced the looming threat of intense typecasting, bearing the immense pressure of forever being associated with a single comedic role, which made it an uphill battle to convince producers to cast him in serious, gritty, dramatic parts. Fortunately, David Jason managed to shatter that typecasting, going on to enjoy a highly acclaimed career in television dramas, most notably as the grumpy but brilliant Detective Inspector Jack Frost in A Touch of Frost, which ran from 1992 to 2010. He also starred in hits like The Darling Buds of May, and later reprised his classic sitcom role as Granville in Still Open All Hours. In his personal life, he married Jill Hinchcliffe in 2005, and the couple has a daughter together. In a surprising and joyous turn of events in 2023, Jason discovered he also had a 52-year-old daughter from a brief past relationship, welcoming her into his family. At 86, he is knighted for his monumental services to acting and comedy, and while he has largely stepped back from leading television roles, he remains an active author, documentary presenter, and a cherished national treasure. Nicholas Lyndhurst as Rodney Trotter. Born on April 20th, 1961 in Hampshire, England, Nicholas Lyndhurst rose to fame at age 20 as Rodney Trotter in the 1981 premiere of Only Fools and Horses. His portrayal of the lanky, naive, and perpetually frustrated younger brother became a massive television phenomenon. Alongside David Jason's Delboy, Rodney's comedic timing and disastrous romantic pursuits anchored the show for over 2 decades. This record-breaking journey from a hapless teenager to a married adult ensured Lyndhurst's status as a cornerstone of British comedy and a lasting pop culture icon. In contrast to the endearingly clueless plonker he played, Lyndhurst is a highly trained and deeply private actor who often found his overnight fame intrusive. The monumental success of the sitcom brought the heavy burden of typecasting. While he secured other successful roles, shedding Rodney's massive shadow remained a lifelong professional hurdle. He frequently battled an industry that struggled to see him beyond the lens of sitcom comedy, leading him to shun the celebrity spotlight in favor of a reserved personal life. Lyndhurst sustained a prolific career with hits like Goodnight Sweetheart and the prequel Rock and Chips, but faced profound tragedy in 2020 with the sudden death of his son, Archie. After stepping back from the public eye, he found a career resurgence in 2023 by joining the American Frasier revival as Professor Alan Cornwall. At 64 in 2026, he remains a resilient and respected figure, balancing a return to the screen with his characteristic privacy and enduring status as a beloved veteran of the industry. Jim Broadbent as Roy Slater. Born on May 24, 1949 in Lincolnshire, England, Jim Broadbent rose to fame at age 34 as the corrupt DCI Roy Slater in the 1983 premiere of Only Fools and Horses. His portrayal of the slimy, vindictive police officer who tormented the Trotter family became an instant hit. Despite appearing in only 3 episodes throughout the series' run, Slater's cultural impact was immense, establishing him as one of British television's most iconic and detestable villains in a show that defined a generation of comedy. In contrast to the power-hungry Slater, Broadbent is celebrated as one of the industry's warmest and most humble figures. His professional journey included a major what-if when he turned down the role of Del Boy due to prior theater commitments, a decision that could have caused bitterness as the show became a monolithic success. Additionally, in his early years, he struggled to escape typecasting, working tirelessly to avoid being boxed into eccentric comedic sidekicks or minor television villains, while fighting for substantial dramatic leads. Broadbent eventually overcame these hurdles to build an Academy Award-winning career, marrying artist Anastasia Lewis in 1987. At 76 in 2026, he remains a cherished elder statesman of British acting with acclaimed roles in the Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and Paddington franchises. Continually proving his vast dramatic and comedic range, he lives a quiet private life in London, with his wife maintaining the same grounded nature that has defined his remarkable 7-decade legacy in the arts. Roger Lloyd Pack as Trigger. Born on February 8, 1944 in Islington, London, Roger Lloyd Pack first brought the iconic character of Colin Triggerball to life on Only Fools and Horses in 1981. At the age of 37, Lloyd Pack's portrayal of the famously slow-witted and deadpan road sweeper became a massive cultural touchstone in British television. His running gags, particularly his unwavering insistence on calling Rodney Dave, and his pride in owning the same sweeping brush for 20 years, despite replacing its head 17 times and its handle 14 times, made Trigger one of the most beloved and unforgettable comedic characters in UK history. Despite the character's famously dim-witted and simplistic nature, Roger Lloyd Pack was a highly educated, multilingual intellectual and a passionate political activist. This sharp contrast meant he occasionally chafed at the public's perception of him. Fans would frequently shout, "All right, Dave," at him in the street, assuming he shared Trigger's lack of intelligence. While he was deeply grateful for the success of the show, he experienced the professional hardship of being heavily typecast. He often sought to distance himself from the slow-minded persona, working hard to prove his versatility as a classically trained actor in dramatic stage roles and independent films, battling the overshadowing legacy of the sitcom's immense popularity. Roger Lloyd Pack managed to enjoy a highly successful career beyond Only Fools and Horses, famously playing the coarse farmer Owen Newitt in The Vicar of Dibley, and Barty Crouch Sr. in the Hollywood blockbuster Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. He was married twice, most recently, to poet and playwright Jehane Markham, and was the father of 4 children, including actress Emily Lloyd. Lloyd Pack passed away at his home in Kentish Town, London, on January 15, 2014, at the age of 69 from pancreatic cancer. His death was mourned as a massive loss to British entertainment, with numerous co-stars attending his funeral at St. Paul's Church in Covent Garden to celebrate the life of an actor who left an indelible mark on generations of viewers. John Challis as Boycie. Born on August 16, 1942 in Bristol, England, classically trained actor John Challis rose to fame at age 39 as Terence Aubrey Boycie Boyce in the 1981 premiere of Only Fools and Horses. His portrayal of the flashy, arrogant used car salesman, defined by a trademark sneer and an iconic machine gun laugh, became a massive cultural touchstone. As a perfect comedic foil to the show's working-class heroes, Challis created one of British television's most enduring and recognizable figures. In sharp contrast to Boycie's smarmy South London persona, Challis was a cultured country gentleman who loved nature and literature. This disparity led to professional hurdles, as the overwhelming success of the role resulted in heavy typecasting. Despite his background with the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theatre casting directors often struggled to see him as anything other than a dodgy dealer, making it difficult for him to secure serious dramatic roles outside the shadow of his famous alter ego. Challis eventually embraced his legacy, starring in the spin-off The Green, Green Grass and the hit comedy Benidorm. He lived a quiet life in a Herefordshire abbey with his wife Carol, focusing on gardening and wildlife conservation until his death from cancer on September 17, 2021, at age 79. His passing prompted a massive outpouring of grief, including tributes from co-stars Sir David Jason and Sue Holderness, as well as a poignant homage from his unlikely internet friend, American rapper Ice-T. Tessa Peake-Jones as Raquel. Born on May 9, 1957, in Hammersmith, London, Tessa Peake-Jones appeared in several BBC productions before her career-defining role. At age 31, she debuted as Raquel Turner in the 1988 Only Fools and Horses Christmas special. Though initially intended as a one-shot character, her chemistry with David Jason's Del Boy made her a permanent fixture. Her portrayal of the grounded, aspiring actress became a massive cultural touchstone, anchoring the record-breaking comedy until its 2003 finale as half of one of Britain's most iconic television couples. In contrast to the often glamorous Raquel Peake-Jones is an intensely private, unpretentious actress who prefers gritty realism over makeup. This personality difference shaped her career as she often sought unglamorous roles to balance her sitcom fame. However, she faced severe typecasting due to the show's colossal success. For years after the specials ended the British public, and casting directors inextricably linked her to Raquel, making it a significant professional struggle to escape the Trotter family's massive shadow. Peake-Jones eventually built a new legacy, most notably as the loyal housekeeper Sylvia Mrs. C. Chapman in Grantchester from 2014 until its final season in 2026. In her personal life, she had a nearly 30-year relationship with actor Douglas Hodge, who famously played the adult version of her on-screen son Damien before their 2013 separation. They share 2 children. At 68 in 2026, she remains a respected figure in British television, recently reflecting on her comedy roots in the 45th anniversary documentary Only Fools and Horses: The Lost Archive. Gwyneth Strong as Cassandra. Born on December 2, 1959, in London, England, the former child actress brought a much-needed grounded realism to one of Britain's most beloved sitcoms when she joined the cast of the 1981 hit series Only Fools and Horses. At the age of 29, Strong debuted as Cassandra Perry, the sensible, upwardly mobile bank clerk who captured Rodney Trotter's heart. Her portrayal provided a crucial emotional anchor to the show's chaotic, get-rich-quick energy, representing the aspirational yuppie culture of the era. For over a decade, her performance in both hilarious and deeply moving storylines, including Rodney and Cassandra's poignant struggle with a miscarriage, cemented her character as a massive cultural touchstone and a vital part of the show's historic success. Despite the character's sensible middle-class yuppie persona, Gwyneth Strong was described by those who knew her as far more down-to-earth, earthy, and fiercely private, standing in stark contrast to Cassandra's socially ambitious nature. Navigating her career post-sitcom came with significant professional hurdles, most notably the immense struggle of being typecast. Because Cassandra was such an iconic fixture in British pop culture, Strong faced difficulty finding work as casting directors struggled to see her as anyone else, which temporarily stalled her television career. Furthermore, the definitive end of the Only Fools and Horses era following the tragic death of the show's creator John Sullivan brought a disheartening professional finality, permanently canceling any hopes of future revivals and forcing the tight-knit cast to move on from the roles that defined them. At 66, she continues to enjoy a thriving career and a fulfilled personal life away from the spotlight. Strong has been married to fellow actor Jesse Birdsall since 2000, and they share 2 children, Oscar and Lottie, as well as multiple grandchildren. She also channels her personal experiences into philanthropy, serving as a patron for ovarian cancer action after losing her mother to the disease. Professionally, she successfully pushed past her earlier typecasting, taking on stage roles like Mrs. Boyle in the 70th anniversary UK tour of Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, as well as television appearances in EastEnders, and a 2026 role as Sari Mayland in the BBC drama Casualty. Embracing her iconic roots, she recently reunited with her former co-stars for the 2026 documentary series Only Fools and Horses: The Lost Archive, and is currently developing a new television project with her close friend and former co-star Tessa Peake-Jones. Sue Holderness as Marlene. Born on May 28, 1949 in Hampstead, London, England, the classically trained actress initially built a steady career in theater and television before landing her most defining part. Although Only Fools and Horses premiered in 1981, Holderness first brought the previously unseen character of Marlene Boyce to life on screen in the 1985 episode Sleeping Dogs Lie. At the age of 35, Holderness's portrayal of the glamorous, flirtatious, and fiercely loyal wife of the snobbish used car salesman Boyce became a massive hit with viewers. Originally intended for just a single episode, Marlene's undeniable chemistry with the rest of the cast and her iconic "Oh Boyce" catchphrase turned her into a cultural touchstone and an enduring fan favorite over the sitcom's legendary run. Despite the character's famously brash, working-class, and overtly flirtatious persona, Sue Holderness is remarkably different in reality, often described as softly spoken, elegant, and decidedly more middle-class than the Peckham local she portrayed. This stark contrast highlighted her acting range, but the immense popularity of Marlene also became a double-edged sword. Holderness faced the heavy burden of being typecast as a cheeky girl about town, which occasionally made it difficult to secure diverse dramatic roles outside of comedy. Furthermore, she experienced the harsh unpredictability of the acting industry. During a particularly difficult period in 1996, when her husband's theater job was threatened by closure, Holderness faced severe financial hardships and a harrowing lack of acting opportunities, constantly battling the pressure to find work to make ends meet for her family. Sue Holderness weathered these professional storms and continued to enjoy a prolific career on British television and the stage. She famously reprised her iconic role in the successful spin-off series The Green Green Grass, which ran from 2005 to 2009 and later secured recurring spots in popular shows like Still Open All Hours, EastEnders, and The Madame Blanc Mysteries. In her personal life, she has been happily married to former theater executive director Mark Piper since 1989, and together they share 2 children, Harriet and Freddie, along with several grandchildren. As of 2026, at the age of 76, she remains an active, beloved figure in British entertainment and frequently dedicates her time as an ambassador for charities including Thames Hospice and campaigns supporting older people facing financial hardship. Lennard Pearce as Grandad. Born on February 9, 1915 in Paddington, London, the classically trained stage actor brought the beloved Trotter patriarch to life when Only Fools and Horses premiered in 1981. At the age of 66, Pearce's portrayal of Grandad became a cultural touchstone in British comedy, offering a hilarious depiction of an armchair-dwelling, lovable curmudgeon. For 3 series, his deadpan delivery, terrible cooking, and unforgettable moments, such as the legendary chandelier-dropping scene, anchored the show and helped establish it as one of television's most iconic and enduring sitcoms. Despite the character's scruffy, television-obsessed nature, Lennard Pearce was a distinguished, highly professional stage actor who had spent much of his early career performing in classical plays alongside legends like Laurence Olivier. This contrast was profound. Those who knew him described him as a quiet, serious, and intensely private man, the polar opposite of the bumbling Grandad. Prior to his breakout role, Pearce's career was marked by the struggle of remaining relatively obscure, despite decades of solid theatrical work, often only landing minor television roles without a mainstream hit. As he finally achieved widespread fame, his professional life was challenged by declining health, exacerbated by a lifetime of heavy smoking, which made the grueling demands of a hit television production increasingly difficult for him to navigate. Lennard Pearce tragically passed away at the age of 69 on December 15, 1984, from a second massive heart attack. He had suffered an initial heart attack just days prior while filming the series' four-episode Hole-in-One. His sudden death deeply shook the cast and crew, leading to a profound aftermath in the world of television. Show creator John Sullivan took the groundbreaking step of writing Grandad's death into the script, resulting in the landmark episode Strained Relations, which beautifully balanced the show's signature comedy with genuine grief. To fill the void left by Pearce's passing, actor Buster Merryfield was introduced as Uncle Albert, though Pearce's foundational role as the original Trotter elder remains a timeless and treasured piece of television history. Buster Merryfield as Uncle Albert Trotter. Born on November 27, 1920 in Battersea, London, England, the former bank manager joined the cast of the 1981 hit BBC sitcom Only Fools and Horses during its fourth series in 1985. At the age of 64, Merryfield's portrayal of the eccentric white-bearded Royal Navy veteran Uncle Albert became a British cultural phenomenon. Brought in to replace the Trotter family's senior figure after the untimely passing of Lennard Pearce, his character was an instant hit. With his endlessly repeated catchphrase during the war, Uncle Albert provided a hilarious and endearing focal point for the show's working-class comedic brilliance, remaining an iconic television figure for over a decade. Despite his character's reputation as a rum-drinking, pipe-smoking, lazy sailor prone to sinking ships, Buster Merryfield's real life was the polar opposite of Uncle Albert's. He was a strict teetotaler, a non-smoker, a former child boxing champion, and a fitness fanatic who maintained a rigid regime of daily press-ups and swimming. This striking contrast highlighted his late-blooming acting talent. Merryfield worked at a bank for nearly 40 years and only became a professional actor at the age of 57. His professional journey was marked by the hardship of breaking into a youth-obsessed industry so late in life, struggling to find professional work, and enduring years of obscurity and local amateur dramatics before finally landing small TV parts. Furthermore, stepping into Only Fools and Horses carried the immense, stressful pressure of replacing a deeply beloved original cast member, a significant professional hurdle he gracefully overcame to win over the skeptical British public. Merryfield remained a dedicated family man and enjoyed immense late-in-life fame, famously stating he loved walking down the street and being greeted affectionately as Uncle Albert. He continued with the show until its legendary 1996 Time on Our Hands Christmas special, and also published his autobiography, During the War and Other Encounters, the same year. Buster Merryfield passed away at Poole General Hospital in Dorset on June 23, 1999, at the age of 78 following a brief battle with a brain tumor. His death was deeply mourned by his co-stars and fans alike, and he was survived by Iris, his wife of 57 years. In a moving aftermath, the character's passing was thoughtfully written into the script for the 2001 special If They Could See Us Now, allowing viewers and the Trotter family to formally bid farewell to the beloved Uncle Albert, cementing a television legacy that remains widely celebrated as of 2026. Paul Barber as Denzil. Born Patrick Barber on March 18, 1951 in Toxteth, Liverpool, the English actor first brought his iconic character to life during the third series of Only Fools and Horses in 1983. At the age of 32, Barber's portrayal of Denzil, an easygoing Scouse long-distance lorry driver, became a cultural touchstone for British television, perfectly serving as a trusting and lovable foil to Del Boy's get-rich-quick schemes. For 2 decades, Denzil's hilarious entanglements in the Trotters' disastrous ventures helped define a character that remains an enduring favorite in one of Britain's most cherished and significant sitcoms. Despite playing a persistently jovial and affable everyman, Paul Barber's real life was intensely private and shaped by early trauma that sharply contrasted with Denzil's light-hearted world. Taken into care at the age of 7, following the tragic loss of his mother to tuberculosis, and the early death of his father, Barber, endured severe physical and mental abuse in the foster system, eventually channeling his deep emotional pain into his acting craft. Professionally, his career was heavily marked by the struggle of being typecast. He openly expressed frustration that British casting directors frequently overlooked him and other black British actors for nuanced leading character roles, often pigeonholing them into comedic sidekick parts due to their massive sitcom fame. Paul Barber continued to work extensively in television and film for decades, proving his dramatic range despite industry barriers. He achieved monumental international success playing the stripping steelworker Barrington Horse Mitchell in the 1997 smash hit film The Full Monty, a role that earned him a Screen Actors Guild Award and which he later reprised in the 2023 television series adaptation. Recognized for his vast body of work, he was awarded an honorary doctorate from Liverpool John Moores University in 2011 for his outstanding contributions to the performing arts. At 74, he is still alive and working in the industry, taking on varied roles in independent films and television dramas while residing quietly in Clacton, Essex, as a highly respected veteran of British entertainment. Patrick Murray as Mickey Pearce. Born on December 17, 1956 in Greenwich, London, England, Patrick Murray built a foundation in gritty 1970s television dramas before landing his defining comedy role. At the age of 26, Murray first brought Mickey Pearce to life on Only Fools and Horses in 1983. His portrayal of the cheeky, boastful, and trilby-wearing wheeler dealer quickly became a cultural touchstone in British television. Firing off iconic one-liners and serving as a hilarious, exaggerating foil to Rodney Trotter Murray's unforgettable comic timing helped solidify the sitcom as one of the most beloved and culturally significant shows of all time throughout its legendary 22-year run. In stark contrast to the arrogant, flashy, and highly extroverted Mickey Pearce, Patrick Murray was a deeply devoted and hard-working family man whose real life was marked by serious challenges and profound sacrifices. After the phenomenal success of Only Fools and Horses, Murray experienced the professional hardship of typecasting, finding that substantial television and film roles had largely dried up. Facing severe financial struggles and the harsh reality of an unstable acting career, he eventually gave up acting altogether. In a remarkable demonstration of real-world dedication, Murray became a taxi driver and chauffeur in Kent to meet strict government income requirements. This grueling career shift allowed him to secure visas to bring his Thai wife and infant daughter to the UK, ending a painful 2-year period of separation where he was relegated to being a Skype dad. In his later years, Murray enjoyed a quiet life in Kent after successfully reuniting his family in the UK in 2018. He made a brief return to acting, filming a final role in the unreleased series Conditions, but his later life was largely defined by a heavily publicized battle with his health. In 2021, Murray was diagnosed with lung cancer, and subsequent scans revealed a separate, unconnected tumor in his liver. Despite undergoing extensive surgery and chemotherapy and initially announcing he was cancer-free in 2022, the disease aggressively returned and spread the following year. Patrick Murray passed away on September 29, 2025, at the age of 68 from lung cancer in Rochester, Kent. His death prompted an outpouring of grief and heartfelt tributes from the BBC, his former castmates, and a dedicated legion of fans who mourned the loss of a true British comedy legend. Vas Blackwood as Lennox Gilby. Born on October 19, 1962 in London, Vas Blackwood rose to fame at age 23 as the bumbling Shadow in the 1986 Only Fools and Horses episode, The Longest Night. Despite appearing only once, his hilarious interaction with the Trotters made Lennox Gilby one of British television's most iconic guest characters. His portrayal of the inept robber remains a beloved highlight of the series' legendary run and a firm piece of sitcom history. In contrast to his gritty on-screen criminals, Blackwood is a polite, spiritual man and a dedicated Freemason. Professionally, however, he faced intense typecasting as a tough guy, which often limited his artistic range. Navigating a fickle industry brought further hardships, including the cancellation of series like Spats and the constant pressure of modern self-taping to secure new roles in an ever-changing professional landscape. Blackwood achieved international cult status as Rory Breaker in 1998's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, followed by roles in Mean Machine and Creep. He also branched into voice acting for Fable 2 and now mentors aspiring actors. At 63 in 2026, he remains an active family-oriented figure who stays connected to his Jamaican roots, balancing his career with the same enthusiasm he held in his youth. Philip Pope, as Tony Angelino. Born on August 11, 1956, in Surrey, England, Philip Pope rose to comedic fame at age 34 as Tony Angelino in the 1991 Only Fools and Horses episode Stage Fright. His portrayal of the singing dustman, a club singer with a speech impediment that turned R's into W's, became an instant cultural touchstone. His hilariously rendered duet of Crying as Swaying with Raquel Turner remains one of the sitcom's most legendary moments, perfectly capturing the awkward charm of amateur pub entertainment. In reality, Pope is a highly educated, Oxford-trained musician, standing in stark contrast to the tacky amateur crooner he played. This disparity created professional frustration as his brief guest role often overshadowed his prolific career as a composer for hits like Spitting Image and The Fast Show. Despite co-writing the UK #1 hit, The Chicken Song, he frequently battled typecasting, finding his award-winning musical work eclipsed by the public's enduring memory of Tony Angelino. Pope continued to thrive for decades, composing for shows like Outnumbered and Yonderland, while appearing in comedies like Benidorm. In his personal life, he and his wife Rosie navigated a crisis in 2013 when their son Will received a life-saving heart transplant. At 69 in 2026, he remains active in the entertainment world, engaging fans on Cameo and performing with chamber choirs, successfully balancing a dual legacy as both a respected British composer and a beloved comedic actor. Decades have passed since the yellow-reliant Regal first hit our screens. Yet the magic of 1981 feels just a heartbeat away. Seeing the cast today is a poignant reminder of our own growth alongside these legendary icons. Their evolution is a testament to the show's enduring brilliance and the legacy they created. If you enjoyed seeing how the stars have changed over the years, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community.